Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Honkai Star Rail video, and today we're going to do a character guide on Jingliu. Jingliu is an ice destruction character. Her whole deal is about doing a bunch of damage. Basically, the way she works is she builds up syzygy stacks, and once she builds up these stacks, she goes into an enhanced state, and she's all about really dealing a bunch of damage in this enhanced state. So what we're going to do in this video, we're going to talk about her a little bit more in depth. We're going to look at her best light cones, her relics, and a little bit about team building and how can we bring the best out of this character, right? So let's go ahead and we'll start with her light cone. Her best light cone obviously is the one they feature on the banner with her, and that's typically how it's going to work. If you're willing to summon for the big light cone, that's usually going to be the one you want. This light cone really focuses on giving her more crit damage, which is really good. She gets these eclipse stacks, which really help her ignore defense. Ignoring defense is a really big part of making Jingliu or any damage dealer look good. When you ignore defense, it really helps increase the damage. So yeah, by far, I mean, this thing is doing everything you want to do at Jingliu. So obviously, if you can get that, you want it. The nice thing with her, or any destruction unit, there is a free-to-play one you can grab called On the Fall of an Aeon, and it is a 5-star one. And this one, you can grind it out at max dupes in the simulated universe shop. So I definitely recommend you pick up that one, even if not for her, for another destruction character. For example, I'll show you, I think I've got mine on Clara, just so I can show you what it looks like here. But yeah, this is the one. So this On the Fall of the Aeon is probably her second best one you could use. Or if you summoned for the premium one on Blade's banner, I think that one would be decent also. But this one here just increases attack. And if you inflict weakness break, you get more damage. So yeah, just anything to help with the damage. I think that's a really solid one. And once again, you can see mine is at Super Imposition 5 because it's free to play, right? Now, if you want a 4-star option, I think a Secret Vow is probably your only option there. It's not the craziest. Like I said, thankfully, because Destruction doesn't have a lot of great options for 4-star, I think having that free-to-play 5-star one is really good. And if you're really desperate, there's a 3-star one called Under the Blue Sky, which could be solid, but obviously you want to use the 5-star one if you can, right? So with that, let's go ahead. I mean, when we look at the traces, this is a character I pretty much would just max everything out. The regular attack is probably her least important, but you definitely, I mean, like, her talent, her skill, and her ultimate are all pretty dang important parts of her kit. So I would really try to max her out if you can on all of the traces there. And then when we go to relics, I think by far, I like the Hunter of the Glacial Forest. Now this one's good twofold, because one, you're getting ice damage, which is what she is. But then after she uses her ultimate, her crit damage increases by 25%. And the theme with Jingliu is really about giving her a ton of crit damage. And the reason why is she has a bunch of crit rate built into her kit. So there's like a certain threshold that you want to kind of go with crit rate, but you don't have to go very high with it, which allows you to dump more crit damage into her. A traditional character like Willusila is an example, because crit rate and crit damage are like min-maxing that and getting like the right balance of that is really the key to getting the most damage out of characters, because the difference between critting and not critting and how much damage do you get when you crit is a big deal. The reason why Jingliu does so much damage is because you can build very all in on crit damage, because she has so much crit rate built into her kit, which is really nice. Now, there is something sneaky you can do on the relic. If you don't want to run this one, you can do Genius of the Brilliant Stars, which is actually a quantum damage one, right? Which the first passive that gives you quantum damage 10%, that doesn't really help her. But the second part is actually really good. It says when the wearer deals damage to an enemy, it ignores 10% defense. We talked about how defense ignore is a really big part about bringing out the damage in a character. And then if the enemy has quantum weakness, you get another 10% damage reduction. So our defense reduction. So basically, in an ideal situation, giving her the quantum set basically enables her to have 20% defense reduction on the enemies at all times, on top of whatever other reductions you're doing, which can really help the damage. Now, I would say if you're going to run the quantum set on her, you'd want to run her with Silverwolf, because then Silverwolf can always apply quantum weakness to any character, to any enemy you're playing, and then you know you've always got that quantum weakness. If you don't have Silverwolf, I don't know that I would invest in it. because then you're investing, because relic investment is a lot, right? It's a lot to invest in them. You don't want to invest in something that wants quantum weakness on the enemies if not every enemy is going to have it. Having Silver Wolf will allow you to put quantum weakness on everybody, and then it would be a viable set. But I would say the safer option just for general use is just go with the ice set, because I think it's really great for her, and that's what I prefer to run, right? So that's where I am on relics. And then if we look at link ropes and the planar spheres, I opted to go with this one, which is the Rutilant Arena. And what this one is, this is a crit rate one. So what it is I'm using this as my method to get her some base crit rate. And the goal with Jingliu is you want her base crit rate to be 20% or higher, especially if you're using this one. Because what this one says is if you get her crit rate at 70% or higher, your basic skill in attack damage go up by 20%. So if you're in particular using this link rope and planar sphere set, you want to make sure the crit rate gets up to 70%. So by getting her base crit rate up to 20, what happens is when she goes into her enhanced state, she has 50% crit rate in that state. So you're going to be at 70% or higher while in that state. So mine right now, she's sitting at like 27% crit rate or something. And that's a really nice sweet spot to be in. You don't want to be in a position where you go like over 100% crit rate, because then you're overextending there. I would say if you just get the base crit rate to be like 75 to 90%, that's like a really good spot where you're going to be critting almost all the time, right? So I went with that one there. And then in terms of like for your relics and your planar spheres, what do you really want to focus on, right? So on the planar sphere, I went ice damage boost. I think that's pretty much like the premium one to go there. And then on the link rope, I went attack percentage, which I think is once again another premium one you could do. I know some people like to do regen rate. I think because I really want to focus on like just all out damage with her, I opted to go attack, but regen rate could be solid on most characters because getting their ultimates more is definitely a good thing, right? And then on the body slot here, I did opt to go crit damage, and I feel like crit damage is really optimal, especially on the body slot. Like, I think you have to have it, because to take advantage of Jingliu's kit is to take advantage of all that built-in crit rate, and the best way to do that is just go crazy on the crit damage. Make it so when she's critting, the damage is overwhelming, right? So I think the body slot, you really got to go crit damage there. And then on the feet, you could go speed or attack. I opted to go speed here to give her more attacks, to make her attack more consistently. I think speed or attack there is definitely good, for sure. And obviously you can get some shoes with some extra either crit rate or crit damage on. That definitely can help, right? All right, so that's kind of the relic setup that I've got there. And then with that, let's go ahead and talk about, before we hop into the showcase, we'll talk about like a sample team build you can run with her. So this is what I would call like a hyper carry build. Now you could do variations of this build, but this is really about just making Jingliu look her best. I featured a team very similar to this in a earlier video, but the idea is we feature Jingliu as the main damage dealer. Pela or like some type of nihility character is there to debuff the enemies and make them more susceptible to damage. Pela is ideal because she's got a lot of defense down in her kit, which is going to help peel through the damage. I think Silver Wolf is another great option you can run here. Welt to some extent could even work, so just depending on who you have access to, but running some type of debuffer that can disable the enemy's defense would be ideal, and that's why Pela's great. And I think a lot of players have Pela. She's a fairly accessible character, right? And then Ting Yun or Branya would be kind of ideal in your support slot. So Branya would allow Jingliu to just take extra turns for free, which is great. I really like Ting Yun in particular, and maybe even a little bit more than Branya, just because Ting Yun is about charging Jingliu's ultimate, and charging her ultimate is really the key to helping her keep in her enhanced state, which is very, very important, right? And then Lynx is a really nice, so you want some type of healer on your build. Lynx is nice because Lynx has debuff cleansing, and debuff cleansing is very, very good. Now obviously if you have a new premium character like Hua Hua, like she would be very good here, right? I've used Bailu a lot in this slot. I just find Bailu has a big weakness in that she can't get rid of debuffs. So even someone like Natasha, at least she has a little bit of cleansing, right? I think debuff cleansing, it just comes in so clutch there, right? So yeah, let's go ahead and hop into a fight, and we'll kind of explain how her kit is working and how the stacking works and how she does all the damage. So we'll just hop into an Echo of War fight, and we will just hop in like this. The one thing I should talk about, so I should talk about Jingliu's field skill, which we're not seeing here. Her field skill is very good. because it does put like an ice barrier around the party, and any enemy that enters that ice barrier will become frozen, and then it gives her one syzygy stack immediately right at the beginning, which is really, really awesome. The nature of this fight doesn't allow us to start with that going in, because we can't attack the enemy first, but that's fine. So Ting Yun, what I typically will do is we want to buff her up, so she's our attack buffer, so Jingliu's going to get that. We're going to need some damage here early, so we need to get some healing here right away. Pela is going to defense shred, so let's do that. Okay, and then Pela's got her ultimate up. We'll go ahead and drop that down. Okay, and then all we did there with Jingliu was we used her skill. So her regular skill inherently doesn't do a crazy amount of damage, and you'll notice that when Jingliu is not in her enhanced state, her damage actually isn't that crazy. She really is about being all in on her enhanced state. And so right below her face down there in the bottom left corner, you see she gained 1 stack. Once she gets her second stack, she's going to go into her enhanced state and immediately get another turn. The way she gets stacks is just from either using her skill or from using her ultimate. Her ultimate will also give her stack. And you'll see right now she caps out at 2 stacks, okay? Oh, it's unfortunate here that I didn't have a skill use because I really kind of needed some healing there. I think we just kind of entered in a bad spot because my party was already a little bit weak. I don't have a lot of charge going here. So there is a chance we actually could die. I might have to re-enter on the fight after healing up a little bit, which we maybe can do. We'll see here. Okay, so Jingliu, you just want to make sure if she's not in her enhanced state, you got to make sure skill use is there. So now we're going to do the skill use. This is going to give us her second stack. She will do a special animation to go into her enhanced state. Now in this state, her normal attack just becomes this really insane blast attack, which deals a lot of damage to the main enemy, and then it will deal 50% of that to the enemies as splash damage on the sides. And during this state now, she has 50% crit rate. And actually, if we click and hold, I think we can see like her stats mid-turn here, right? So you can see it's showing me the buff. She has the 50% crit rate. Her ultimate damage is increased. Her effect resistance is up. She's got a crit damage boost. She gets an extra 620 attack there. So looking pretty good. And you can see here, her stats are looking pretty solid, right? So let's go ahead and do this. Let's see what kind of damage we get here. So we're going to hit that. Yeah, and you can see 89k, which is pretty solid for hitting everybody. Now, we really need a heal here. Oh, and I'm out of skill uses again, man. I really, I almost want to just drop the fight now because I know characters are going to die, and I want to continue here. We just ended up in a bad situation going in. All right, we can hit this. Hold on. Oh, okay, we're going to drop out. Pela just got me killed. Hold on, let me retreat quick. What I'm going to do really quick is I'm just going to go to a spot to heal up. And actually what I want to do, because I want to show the really nice combo of, like if you can go into a fight. So let me just do this. I want to go into a fight where I can enter with the field skill on. So let me just really quick, and we can do, I think Stagnant Shadow will allow me to do that. And let's go into... Here, let's go into like this. This is a fire enemy, which would be weak to, but yeah, let's go here. Oh, I haven't actually entered that one yet. Hold on, let me go to one I haven't done yet. We'll just go to an earlier one here. Sure, let's just pick this one here. We'll teleport to this one. Perfect. Oh, so I'll have to go explore that one. I haven't done that one yet. All right, so we're going to hop into here. So yes, we can challenge this, and then it will allow us to put field skills on. So we're going to go into this. We're going to start challenge. Okay, and then we're going to quick get this on, which is going to freeze. And I want to put some other skills on so I can kind of start with a buff here. And then Pela's going to do that. All right, we're going to have a much cleaner start here. Okay, and normally if you're in like simulated universe or in the abyss mode, which is Forgotten Shadow, like you're going to be a lot better off. But yeah, this is nice. So ideally, this is how you start a fight with Jingliu. She's got a syzygy stack right away. So now, Ting Yun, go ahead and buff. Pela is going to go ahead and impair. And then actually I can use her ultimate as well. And then the enemies are going to be frozen, and then we're going to hop into Jingliu. Okay. Now you're going to see a really nice setup here. So we're going to go into her skill. This is going to put her into her ultimate mode. Now what happens is while she's in this enhanced state, once again, we got the special attack, we got all the buffs, but also her syzygy stacks can go up to 3. So if Ting Yun had her ultimate up right now, I could pop her ultimate, which could buff Jingliu, and then if Jingliu pops her ultimate, she can actually go up to a third stack here. So we're gonna go ahead and hit this for some big damage. And then there, 133k. Oh, and we just one-shot it. So yeah, that's the basics of how that works. But I wanted to show you that on a basic setup, just so you guys could see how it works. So I suppose we could just make that a quicker showcase. I mean, there really isn't much else you would see other than the idea is if we go into a little bit of a longer fight, right? The idea is you cycle Ting Yun by powering up her ultimate, and then as she gets her ultimate, it's going to help her keep adding more synergy stacks, and you kind of just stay loaded into that form. And actually, if you just watch my previous simulated universe video, we saw a lot of Jingliu doing that in there, so we can just refer to that because I don't want you guys to watch me keep going into random fights over and over again. But that's basically how her kit works, right? Once again, take my recommendations on how you want to build her, and obviously make your own tweaks to that. But the general idea is just really build a team around her and support her. You could do a double DPS build. Like I've done builds where I run like her and Sela together, and then you could just run a healer, and then you could pick either like a Silver Wolf or a Pela or a Ting Yun in that other slot. You definitely can make that work if you want to kind of have two damage dealers going. It just means that Jingliu's damage herself wouldn't be as good as it could be on like this hyper carry build, right? So anyways, let me know what you think of Jingliu. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.